So I'm here in Boston and about to go get some breakfast, just taking a little walk in Boston. And last night during one of our breakout meetings, ended up in a conversation about copywriting specifically for cold advertising, more specifically on social media, more specifically on Facebook and Instagram. A long way to get there, but it's important to know the context for which I'm going to share with you three of the most go-to frameworks that I use in copywriting to take a cold, someone who doesn't know who you are, someone who doesn't know your brand, and turn them into a warm lead. Obviously, we know the old adage, right? People buy from people they know, like, and trust. So how do you take a cold Facebook ad and turn that into leads and then eventually sales? And we had part of our debate, which I may do on another video, which was, how do you define a lead? For those that don't know me, my name is Darrell Evans. I am the co-founder and CEO of a digital marketing agency named Yoko Local. I'm the founder of MindShift Growth Partners and the host of the MindShift Podcast. So let's talk about the definition of a lead, then talk about those three copywriting frameworks that I hope would help you as you think about your journey with ads. If we keep it simple for the purpose of this talk, we're talking about someone who has identified that they have a problem that they would like to solve. Now, someone who has identified that they have a problem that they would like to solve. Notice what I didn't say. I didn't say somebody who was ready to buy your service or your product. The goal of lead generation, especially from what I call cold traffic, or people that are unaware of who you are, people go on typically a journey. They become aware of a problem. They start looking for a solution or considering a solution to the problem, and then they buy said solution. Now, the problem is your customer, your lead, has lots of solutions, lots of potential ways to solve the problem, not just your solution. So let's get into this idea of cold copywriting, writing copy for cold ads that essentially get people to just show up in your world. The reason this story came up is I'm working with a client actually here in Boston, and they have a live event coming up. And the fractional CMO and I are a part of the Black-owned HubSpot agency partner group, BOHAP, and we had about 30 days to fill a 200-seat event. And by the way, what I'm saying right now, we're in the middle of that right now. But how do we go from, this is the first time this event's being run, to articulate in an ad that not only are we having this event, but who it's for, why they should attend, what they're going to benefit from attending. Okay, so let's start with copywriting framework number one. It's an old, well-known framework that many of you might know, and it is called AIDA. Attention, interest, desire, action. Attention is in the ad. It starts with getting the person's attention that you would like to stop and engage in the ad. Step two is interesting them, saying something in your ad that interests them in continuing the discussion. What I mean by that is, will that ad retain their attention? D is desire. Elevate their desire to want to take a step towards your invitation, because that's what your solution is. This event is an invitation, right? And then action. Tell them what to do. So when you combine that formula, that's copywriting framework number one. Old school, been around forever, works pretty good. A better one, in my opinion, is problem, agitate, solve. P.A.S. Problem, agitate, solve. Now, if you're in my inner circle, you'll know that I've extrapolated that to include one extra step. But for now, let's just go with problem, agitate, solve. A, the ad opens with, what is the problem, right? Are you experiencing this problem? So getting the person to raise their hand that they, in fact, have the problem that you're seeking to solve, that they want to actually solve. Agitate. Agitate's really simple. It's essentially copy that challenges them to move beyond their current level of discomfort towards an actual solution. Okay, what do I mean by that? So agitate. What happens if you stay in pain? How long do you want to continue with the back pain? How long do you want to continue to struggle in math? How long do you want to keep going without leads coming into your business, which is what we do in our business, right? So agitate. You got to get them uncomfortable, because listen, there's only 3 times that someone really will buy something. That is now, that is later, and in fact, that's never. Never. You have to deal sometimes with the fact that some people will never take the action to solve their problem. So problem, agitate, solve. The solve, very similar to the A in AIDA. The solve simply means ask them to take the next step to begin the journey to solve the problem. Problem, agitate, solve. Now, in the inner circle, I teach another step, which is slightly advanced, but that's problem, agitate, excite, solve. So what does the E do? In the copy, what we're doing here is we're saying, here's why you should be excited about taking this step. And you're almost painting a picture of what their future life will look like after they take what you're about to tell them is the next step. So problem, agitate. So now they know they're in pain and now they feel pretty bad. You're agitating it and you're challenging them, but let's excite them a little bit. Let's get them excited to solve the problem. And then let's ask them to take the step to solve the problem. Okay, that's framework number 2. Framework number 3, I gotta figure out where I'm going. Give me 1 second here. Oh, it's to my left, okay. I've been walking around Boston for a long time. Last couple of 3 days. I actually got really lost the other day because these phone maps don't exactly do a great job. They twist you up a little bit. Okay, back to the issue at hand. Last framework, and I'll shut this thing down. Last framework, before, after, bridge. B-A-B. Before, after, bridge. Really, it's telling a story. Okay, what we like to do in this copy is to tell a story. Here's your before state. And if you are seeking to solve this state, here's what it'll look like after. Okay? So, for example, I'm just going to keep it in my business, for example. Someone comes to me typically to say to me that revenue is flat, leads aren't coming in, they'd like to grow, and so that's the before state. The after state is painting a picture and drawing out a plan in the ad that would actually state what it would look like on the reverse, on the other side. That's what we mean by before, after, bridge. And what's interesting is it's nothing more than storytelling, right? If you look at any story arc and you are listening to someone who watched a great movie and they tell you about how the movie ends, they tell you the before state is what starts at the beginning of the movie. They tell you what happens during the movie when the hero, if you will, is challenged to do the thing that they want to do. And then they architect and arch that into the after state, which is, again, before, after, bridge. These 3 copywriting frameworks, my breakfast spot is right across the street. These 3 frameworks are, in fact, the top 3 frameworks, not the only, the top 3 that we use consistently for paid advertising that work so effectively in taking a perfect stranger who's just sitting around on social media. By the way, it works primarily from social media. By the way, works on LinkedIn, works on, it'll work for Twitter, it'll work for anything. It'll work actually in your posts, organic posts. But that's for another conversation, how we architect that against organic posts. But those are the 3 frameworks. Let me tell you what they were again. Number 1 is AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action, AIDA. The second one is P.A.S, P-A-S, problem, agitate, solve. Absolutely my favorite. And before, after, bridge. Before, after, bridge is one of the best. And we use them in rotation depending on the context of what we're selling. And in some cases, we test all 3 at the beginning of the campaign. People ask me which one's the best one. It depends. I know you hate that answer, but it's the fact. It's true, right? I love before, after, bridge. I love all 3 of these. And there are others. I just don't want to keep this video too long. The reality is you have to architect these frameworks in your ads so that things aren't haphazard. These are very systematic. And here's the best part if you stayed to the end. For those that dropped off early, they missed the punchline. I could have said it at the beginning and I didn't, but I only wanted you to hang around if you really were interested in hearing this. And so here's the punchline. With the AI today, ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, all three of them work. All three of them get the, decent results. You can, even if you're not an expert copywriter, you can define who your ideal target audience is, and you can ask ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini that I am creating ads for my campaign. Our buyer is this. Detail out who you're talking to, who your target audience is, who the buyer persona is, what is the problem that your solution provides, and you can actually have ChatGPT help ideate copy with these frameworks as long as you tell it, please use the P.A.S, the AIDA, or before, after, bridge frameworks. My friend, if you know nothing about ad copy, if you know nothing about digital ads, if you've never ran a campaign before, I have literally given you the blueprint since I've been writing copy for 20 years. I'm showing my age. 95, coming up on 29 years. I think my math is right, maybe 29 years. I've been writing copy for a long time. I didn't become good at marketing because I had ChatGPT. And let me be clear, AI is not going to make you a great copywriter. However, AI is going to get you to go from blank page to something you can put into an ad. I better go back here, it's getting noisy. Something you can put into an ad that will work, provided you've got the rest of the things in place. You've got a good advertising, you got a good campaign, you got the right setup, you got the right objectives, you're bidding properly, you got the right offer on the other side of your ad, your landing page is good. Believe me, getting your copyright's not going to take you to the bank. However, it's going to get a cold individual who doesn't know your brand to stop, take notice, interact with your ad, and then you can let your marketing process, if it's well done, take care of the rest. Okay, I'm hungry. I'm in Boston. Last day I head home in about 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, I guess, something like that. It's been a beautiful day. Thank you, Boston. Been great. And I'm going to head into my diner, which is about, about 3/4 of a mile from my hotel. And then I'm gonna get on with my day. I hope you found this video helpful. If you do need some help of any kind, follow the page, come over to the MindShift Podcast, or head over to darrellevans.net. If you want our agency to help you, we're at yokolocal.com. I'll talk to you later. Peace.
Hit the subscribe button so you can become a part of the MindShift community. We'll help you shift your mind so you can shift your results.